Hi, this is Alex from Groovy Entertainment. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite movie subjects from the pre-code era, the 1930s to 1933, 34, and then are the gangster movies. They made so many of them from the 30s from the 30s. And then they started kind of calming down because war happened in the 40s, but they still were trying to make them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about all my gangster films, and this might be a very long video. I will try to squeeze them all in to making a bunch of videos of it. So we're gonna talk from the 30s all the way up until the 80s, and I hope you like this video a lot because this is gonna be a big one. So our first one is Litter Caesar from 1930. Now this is Edward G. Robinson's first movie that he did, and he plays. Let's see, he had that funny. Okay, he just named Caesar, and he plays. And he was 37 years old when he did this movie, so he was kind of old when he did his first. He wasn't young when he did his first movie, and he was always short, so he looked like he was. He had like he was always short. He never grew or nothing, and he was Italian, I think. And he just played a Chicago gangster that thinks that he knows everything, and then he tries to go up against the heavy hitter of the other gangsters that's more bigger than he is, and he even shows them that he's kind of a big shot, and they fall in love with him by the way he talks and walks and everything until he gets until he gets too below or too high up, got nose too high in the air that they want to take him down. And this is a good movie. It's not a great movie because it's kind of slow in some parts. In the second half of the movie, it gets kind of action, but you have to wait to the second half to get the action part. But it's good if you like if you want to know his first movie. And I think you can still buy this stuff because this was on the Warner Bros. Gangster collection. Yeah, they made four Gangster collection series, and we're gonna talk about all four of them because that's what I bought them all. I think there's a fifth one out there, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. And then our next one from 1931 is Smart Money. Now you got a newcomer. He was the next heavy hitter of of the Gangster series. Now these two were great stars after they did what they did. And this is from 1931, and this is more of a It's like a comedy gangster movie. Okay, this is his second movie. So these are both their second movie they made together, and this is about let's see. Okay, this is so all this is a barbershop racketeer. These two guys own the barbershop, and they have people give them money to bet on stuff, and they have to kind of keep their betting and gambling and stuff quiet from the men. Because if the government finds out about it, they can be shut down and put in jail and all that. And this is a comedy. And I think what happened is I think they are so good that the other racketeers want to figure out why all their clients are not going to them and going to these two fellows. And this movie is it's it's faster than Little Caesar, than his first movie, and about the same for his movie. All his James Cagney movies are always fast. They're always kind of on speed. They just keep going. But Robinson movies are always on some kind of slow mode kind of way. They got older and they start getting faster. And then our next one is James Cagney's first movie, The Public Enemy. Now this is better than Little Caesar. This got action all the way from the beginning to the end, and it's non-stop. It don't slow down or nothing. And this is from 1931, and this is just a bad kid that grows up to be a real bad man when he gets old. And his mother tells him that you have to be good or you're gonna end up dead or something like that. And he tells his mother that he wants to be big and bad. He do end up to what he do grow up to what he wanted to be. And then the big time gangsters want him dead, just like in Public Little Caesar. They're about the same movie. This is faster, and I don't know how old he was, but they don't say his age. But if you could find this one, this is a good one to start if you want to know if you want to watch something from the 30s and want a fast paced movie. And then our next movie, James Cagney Picture Snatcher. This is from 1933, and this is about let's see. Okay, this is just about a reporter who who tried to take pictures of bad things happening to the crooks, and he kind of takes too many of the pictures, and and the courts don't like that because then they can't. Yeah, it does. I haven't played these things in years. It's the most of that kind of thing. This is a pre-Hayes Code movie too. But this is 33, and then I think he get locked up for taking a real bad picture of somebody getting electrocuted. So it's mostly a newspaper film, and this is real. This is real good too. This is fast paced, like his first one, Public Enemy. And they're all in black and white because they didn't have color back then. Then you got the next one, another Jane Cagney film, The Mayor of Hell from 1933. And this is mostly somebody that gets made up to be a mayor, and he goes too far with it, and he want to take out all the bad guys out of his town. And yeah, and he happens to be yeah, he's a poor nobody that becomes mayor and wants to clean up the town, and the people don't, and the gangsters don't want that to happen. And this is Bogart first film also. He plays he played the head gangster. So he started his gangster role in this movie, and he wants to kill James Cagney. He wants the city to be all bad and everything. And this is a real dark movie because because you don't because mostly James Cagney movies are just him being a bad kid or him being a sneaky reporter or stuff like that. This one they made him be a dark character that you don't know if he's good or bad. And Bogart's always bad because he's young in this film. And is there any back pictures? Not much. What I'll do, I'll show you all the back picture at the end of the movie. And then you got another James Cagney film, Lady Killer, from 1933. This is an ex-con. Okay, this is just an ex-con that makes it into Hollywood, and in the news, and he makes it to Hollywood, and he tried to be 10. And I'm not be 10. He gets good because he used to be a bad guy, and he cleans up, and he's afraid that what he did a long time ago is gonna catch up to him because the other bad guys want him back to do one big crime, and he don't want to go back to his past, and that's what this movie's about. This is this is so before the Hays Code came out, and they did a lot of good films before that time. And this is a comedy also. He did a lot of comedy. After he did both. He was the only guy that could do real bad gangster and dark movies, and he could do real good comedy movies with the same theme. Just make them funny. He was a big star of the 30s. Now we go back to our first star, Everett G. Robinson, the Little Giant. And let's see what this one's about. Okay, this is just about a bootlegger. Not yeah, bootlegger means that this is more the alcohol bootlegger. It ain't the one we see nowadays with the VCR tapes and everything. And he wants to make it big with the upper class people, because he wants to make money off of them people instead of making money off the lower class as what he had to grow up from. And he does a pretty good job. And this is another comedy. He he so played the bad guy. He just he just played a funny bad guy. He's yeah. And I don't remember this movie too much. I only saw it one time, but I think it went it was kind of fast paced when I saw it the first time. And these movies are short, so they're about hour and 20 minutes long, or no, they're no more than an hour and a half long. So they made these movies kind of fast paced anyway because they didn't make long films back then. And now we're going to talk about our next one from 1935. Now this movie came out during the Hays Code. The Hays Code got put in 1934 to to take out the sex and violence out of the movies, but they were still sneaking it in there. The directors, and this is the G-Men from 1935. You got James Cagney trying to become a a government man. He's trying to become a cop, and he goes after big criminals. Just he goes after the big criminals to stop them. He falls in love. I think he falls in love with one of the gangster girlfriends. And this is an action packed movie. This got action. This got action from the beginning to end, and it got some. In the 1930s, the mid 30s, they had some good violent scenes in their movies. Even so, the code were trying to stop it. And this got a nice car chase in it. They made a lot of car chases in the 30s. They started the car chase, and you got Robert Armstrong, the guy that did King Kong. He was the guy. He was the guy that was trying to make King Kong be a real monkey. He was trying to sell the people that monkey, and it backfired. Then you got Edward G. Robinson, Bullet or Batter. This is another. This is he did a lot of comedy. It seems like. No, this is not a comedy. This is just another gangster trying to get somebody they want in office, and they're trying to make the people vote for the guy they want and not for the guy that the people want to vote for. And this is from 1936. So I think so. Whoever votes for the other guy, they kill them off so they can't have the vote for the mayor or somebody, the president or somebody. And yeah, that's mostly what this movie is. It's a it's kind of like what happened during the Trump thing, but this is before that, a long time before that. Our next one, Black Legion. Now we got Bogart coming into the picture. This is his first movie. Yeah, this is his first movie from 1936. Okay, all this is a man that wants America all white when no minorities in it, and he threatened anyone that's not white who enter his town to be killed off. And then after a while, I mean the back cover. That's what makes this fun. Yeah, that's mostly what this movie is. You got like, eh, and this is Bogart first Legion. This is his first movie he did, and this movie was okay. This movie hit the top 10 in 1937. This yeah, this was the top 10 movie in 1937. All the Ku Klux Klan leaders loved this movie a lot. And after the years went by, it became a cult classic in the 70s. And now we're talking about it in the year. Oh, this movie we're talking about in the year 2019. This is a dark movie, and this is for the time because back then this was happening in 1937. So this is kind of a modern day movie of the time. And some of the movies I'm showing you might be hard to find. And now you got his biggest movie of 1936, the Petrified Forest. And this is just a gangster that hold a bunch of people hostage inside a diner, and they're trying to talk them. They're trying to figure out how to get the people out the diner and trying to get the bad guy, try to get the bad guy out of it too. And he paid the gangster like always. And this is a real fast paced movie. I love this movie a lot of his. I'm not a Bogart fan, but the little bit he did in the 30s was better than what he did in the 40s. He did one good movie in 1955 called The Desperate Hour. That's kind of like this movie, a remake of it, but instead he takes the whole family hostage inside their home, and they're trying to figure out how to get him and his criminal out, him and his bad guys out of the house without harming the family. So this is about so that was 19 years later he did that movie, and that was in the Desperate Hour would be I think his last movie. He died in 56, 57. So this is a real good movie if you could pick this up. You know, yeah, and this one had Betty Davis in it. This was one of her biggest movies. I don't know. This was one of her biggest movie too. I know if she. I don't know when she came out. If she came out in the 30s or not 35 or earlier. This is another Bogart movie, but now you got a third actor. You got Pat O'Brien, Bogart, and Sheridan. Now, Ann Sheridan was the leading lady of this time. She did a lot of movie with James Cagney and Bogart. And Pat O'Brien did a lot of movie with James Cagney also. And this is the Bogart trying to get out of jail. And he breaks out and he wants to. It's the yeah. All this is that he breaks out to get revenge on the Pat O'Brien who put him in jail or the big house. And this is a real good movie. This got action. Mostly they did a lot of prison films in the 30s also, and the prison films were real good. They're better than the gangster movies, but they're real dark prison films. They show you what would really happen back then, and they made prison film. I think they made more prison films during that time than gangster movies. So this is a real good one. If you could pick this up from 1937. Now we got another Edward G. Robertson film, and we got another Betty David movie. She was like the bad girl at the time. She played the mean parts. She played the good part, and she played with all the heavy hitters. She even played with James Cagney in one of the films. I don't know if I got that film in my collection. Oh yeah, Bogart's in here too. This is just this is a boxer movie where well, see, Robinson is a racketeer fighter promoter, and he makes this and he makes let's see if the poor guy names in here. And he makes Morris a somebody, and Roberts and Bogart is the other gangster that got a real boxer that he wants to win, and Robinson pushed this nobody into a boxer to beat his champion, and the and Wayne Morris falls in love with Betty Davis, who is a Robinson girlfriend, and he don't want nobody messing with his girl, so he threatened the boxer to tell him that if you mess with my girl, you have to either be a nobody again or I have to kill you. And yeah, yeah, because the Wayne Morris for this hotel bellboy or bellhops, this is a good movie for a boxer movie. Kid Gallagher or Gallahan. This is a real good boxer movie. They did some good some box movies were real slow, but this was a good one. And it had a lot of stars in this one. I think pick this up if you could find this one. Now we go to our next one. This is a comedy movie. Edward G. Robertson. That's the one I know. This is from 1938, and let's see, this is a bootlegger trying to make his business and they're trying to make his bootlegger into a legal business, and he's trying to fool the cops and everybody. And let's see, yeah, that's all it is. He's just trying to fool the cops, and this is kind of a this is a comedy. I only seen it once or twice, and back then they had these kind of comedies, and then they had the Three Stooges and Lord and Hardy and Little Rascal comedy. Now I was more of them kind of comedies more than these kind of comedies, but A.D. Robinson never did a bad film, and I'm not too sure. This is 85 minutes long, so this is a little longer than most movies for that time. It's about an hour and a about hour and a half movie. But if you like comedy and like hey, you want to see him in a comedy movie, then you could watch. Then this would be a good one to pick up. Our next one, Robertson. Oh, you got everybody in this one. You got Bogart and you got Robertson in this one. The Amazing Charlie House. Now this one is about a criminal that steals some kind of jewelry or something. And see, Bogart played the real ice-blooded tough guy, and Robertson plays the doctor that knows everything about jewelry, and Bogart is the mean gangster that wants him so he could get him good jewelry to try to sell off to the higher bidder with all that. And it's from 1938. Let's see what else is in this one. And by this point, the reason you don't really see too many James Cagney because he was trying to get away from. He got tired of doing the gangster movies. He was trying to he was trying to do musicals and comedies and other kind of movies. But Edgar G. Robinson and Bogart, they kind of love this kind of stuff. I think Robinson was getting tired of it too after a while, but he got tired of it in the 40s and 50s. So he kept going, and Bogart kept going. He kept going off through the 30s, and then he kind of got tired of it and started doing war movies and stuff like that until he got back into it later in life. If I don't see Cagney in it, then okay, here's Cagney coming back now with his comeback movie because he's been gone for so long. This is from 1938. Angels with Dirty Faces, and this is James Cagney and Pat O'Brien. This is the sixth time they did a movie together, and this is just a bad. This is just Robinson being a poor bag, a bad guy that lived in the ghetto, and the preacher trying to help him become good, and let's see, you got Bogart in this movie too. Bogart plays a bad lawyer, and Sheridan played the girlfriend of Cagney, and in this one too, you got the Dead End Kids. The Dead End Kids plays the bad kids that Cagney try to take over. He be their leader, and the preacher don't want the kid to end up like Cagney's gonna end up. And this is a real good one. You got everybody in this movie. Now the Dead End Kids was a bunch of kind of bad kids of the time. They made a lot of movies and serials and stuff. Some of their movies are real good. Some of them are real slow. But for the time, they made a lot of money. And this is from this is 38. And this is one of Cagney. Cagney never did a bad film. Every movie he did was good. I love Cagney a lot. Cagney was like a Charles Bronson of the time. He was real big in action. He was short, so he made himself look even bigger than he really was. And then Pat O'Brien was good in all the films he did. He went from playing these kind of good guys trying to get the gangsters or the bad guys from being bad, and then he did a lot of comedies. And like I said, this is gonna be a biggie. The Roaring Twenties from 1939, and this is James Cagney trying to be a big top, or yeah, a big time bootlegger, and yeah, and bootlegger was kind of not was kind of illegal back in the 20s, and he become the big guy, and Bogart played the bad guy again in this one, and then he becomes big until the bootleg until the to the bootleg and kind of everybody gets tired of it, and like I said, Bogart played a lot of these gangster movies, and this would be and it would be James 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 Cagney's last gangster movie. He wanted to do no more gangster movies at all for until later in his life. So this is his last. This is his last movie of the gangster era, and this is one of his best movies that he went off at. He went out in a high note. So if you can find this movie, this is real good also. But you can see I'm a Cagney fan, so every movie he did, I just love it. Then we got a Dusty movie because that's his last movie, and then his last gangster movie. Now this is James Cagney and George Raft. Each Dawn I Die. Now this one, Cagney don't play gangster no more. He just plays. Let's see. He played the reporter. Let's see. Yeah, he played a reporter, and somebody frames him for doing something bad, and they say that this guy did it, so they throw Cagney in jail, and Cagney has to prove himself that he didn't do the crime. And then John Raft is is the bad guy of the movie, and he tried to tell Cagney that you have to just behave in in the jail system and wait until your time runs out. And then you got more bad guys in there trying to make both of their life miserable. And this is a real, like I said, this is a real prison film, a real good prison film. And George Raft's a real good actor too. He did a lot of movies, but he didn't really do a lot that people remember him in. Yeah, he came out, I think he came out in 1931, 1932. George Raft. So he been out for 7 years. And then this would be I don't know. This is Jane Kang. This is his prison movie. He like I said, he did no more gangster movies. So he started doing. So he started playing good guys that get framed. And he has to get himself out of the frame. Let's have a real good shootout scene in the middle and the end of the film. And our next one from 1930. Let's see, 1939. Now you got George Raft, Bogart, and William Holden in the Invisible Stripes. Now, this is just a movie about a guy that gets out of jail and he's trying to change his life around, but because everybody knows he was in jail, he can't get a job. Nobody wants to hire him. Nobody wants to be around him. So Bogart sees sees that he's having trouble being a good normal guy. That Bogart wants to bring him back to the evil side and tells him that being bad is better than being good because you see that nobody wants you as a good person, so join me instead. And George Raft, well, yeah, William Holden, the one that gets out of jail, right? Okay, George Raft, the one that gets out of jail. William Holden is George Raft's brother, and Bogart trying to get George Raft to be bad again. And William Holden telling his brother, George Raft, don't listen to him. You spent your life, all your life in jail. You don't want to go back there again. And like I said, George Raft started to become the next heavy hitter of this time. And this is a real good movie because it shows you that you can be in jail all your life and try to be good, and people treat you like a criminal. And like I said, all these movies are black and white. There's no colors in these movies because they were cheaper putting them in black and white. Then we got another Robinson film with Bogart, and let's see what this one. Yeah, this is just a gangster that. Yeah, this is the gangster that owns. I think he owns a flower shop or whatever, and trying to make pretend that his flower shop is a real legal business. But in the background, he's a racketeer. And this is a comedy. And Bogart's the bad guy of the movie. They're both bad guy, but Bogart the bigger of the two. He's the bigger bad guy, and Robinson is the little bad guy. And he kept doing comedy. And Bogart, I think this is Bogart's third comedy, but that is his third comedy. But he plays his part like he's doing a real serious movie. Egley Robinson plays his part like he is doing a comedy, and it's got some good scenes in it for a comedy. But most of the stuff in the '30s, their comedy was more kind of violent for their comedies. Now we go to the '40s. This is James Cagney from 1940, and he played the boxer in this one. He played the ex. Yeah, he played the ex-boxer because somebody framed him for something he didn't do. And you got Ann Sharanti, and you got Anthony Quinn now, and Art Kennedy. Now Art Kennedy played a lot of serious part before he became a westerner, and he's a real good actor. Art Kennedy and Anthony Quinn always would play the bad guys in his movie before he became a good guy. And this movie does see some talking and coughing at the same time. And I think Anthony Quinn frames Robinson, so he played the bad guy. This is Arthur Kennedy's first movie, and this is a real good. This is another boxing movie. And like I said, he didn't do any more gangster movies. So he was doing boxing. He was the person that got framed for the crime that he never did. It's the kind of movie he kept doing until he started doing musicals. And our next one, another Robinson movie from 1942. This is a comedy. Now you got a newcomer. You got Broderick Crawford. Now he did a lot of gangster movies. He had a TV show called Highway Patrol, or Highway Patrolman, or something like that from the 50s. He went to he did one or two American Italian movies where he would play the big baddies against Hercules or them kind of movies. Then he played the big baddies. He played a big bad guy on in the western with Audie Murphy, and I think he kept making movies up until he died in the 80s. Now I don't know if this is his first movie. They don't say if it's his first one or not. It could be his first movie. And Crawford played the big time gangster, and Robertson played the little gangster. And they're trying to and they're trying to and they open a suitcase store next to a bank so they could go through their store to break into the bank that's next door to them. This is like kind of like a comedy bank robber movie. Oh, Anthony Quinn did this one too. Okay, Anthony Quinn's are coming now. Now we go to now that was the Warnerberg gangster stuff where them kind of heavy hitters. Now we go to the next heavy. Now we go to the gritty kind of gangster movies. Our next one is Delattre from 1945, and boy, this was kind of like a B movie, a Raj. Yeah, it's one of them kind of movies, and this is I don't know if this is a real life story of his or a Hollywood made story. There was a '73 movie that was faster paced and had more action. This one was kind of a slower paced movie, but this was a B movie also. This was the movie you saw before the main movie came out. So it's not great. If you want to see what the first attempt at making a Delatture movie is, that they picked this up. But I say pick the '73 one up before this one because that one's more faster paced than this one is. And then James Cagney would come back. He would come back to do two more gangster. He would come back to do. It's not really a gangster. No. He came back to do two more bad guy pictures. This one, White Heat, is about a bad guy that loves his mother a lot, and every time he would every time he would get mad or something, he would shake. And then he find out that something bad happened to his mother because another another person on his team wants to take him out so he could be more powerful than he is. And Virginia Mel is the new leading lady of the time. And let's see who else we got. So this is one of the best movie of all time of 1949. I would say if you want to see Edgar, Jane Cagney in a big action movie, I say watch this one first, then watch all his stuff from the 30 second. So you can see him and his great. He did another bad guy movie in the 1950 called something. I can't remember the name of it, but it was just as good as this one was. But I think it's hard to find now because they don't. I think that movie was just forgotten. Now that's the end of these people. Now we go to another kind of gangster movies. This is the Mob Collection, and I open it. Now this one, you get The Chase from 1946, and that's in the yeah, just a World War II vet helps out, gets a job from a gangster, and the gangster do something bad, and he gets framed for it, and he had to get himself out of the trouble he got himself into. And then you got Crime Inc. This is about a reporter that faced prison terms for refusing to reveal his source after writing an article about a gangster or getting a racketeer. So this is kind of like a remake of Picture Snatcher in a sense. And that's from 1945. Then you got Shoot to Kill. Let's see. Yeah, you just got a corrupt DA and a gangster trying to get the DA back his job because he needs the DA help to help him out of jail or something. So the DA is working with the criminals. And that's from 47. Then you got Woman on the Run, where Ann Sheridan, and she's searching for her missing husband who witnessed a mob murder. Then you got the Big Columbo, or the Big Combo, where Cornell Wilde, he played the cop that wanted to take down a kingpin, and that's from 1955. Then you got Johnny One Eye, Pat O'Brien, is is a racketeer that escapes the DA, and that's mostly what it is. You got Wayne Morris, who plays that one from 1950. Now this is like the comeback movie because Wayne Morris played that movie with the boxer Kid Gallahan, and then he would do other movies, kind of a lot of B movies. I think this was a B movie too. Then Pat O'Brien would do a lot of comedies. He would stop doing gangster movies. He got tired of doing it. He didn't want to get typecast. So he did this one in the 50s. He came back and did a, kind of a baddie. Then you got Kid Monk Barnier. Now this is Leonard Nimoy's first movie from 1952. This is just a kid with a ugly face that tried to become a boxer, and then he gets surgery. And when he gets his face fixed, he thinks he becomes a criminal. He thinks he's too handsome to do anything except to be the big shot. Then you got Port of New York. This is just a cop trying to take out the gangster in any way possible. And this is about Your Brenner from 1949. This movie is the first time you've seen Your Brenner wear a whole hair for here before he shaved it off and became bald headed for the rest of his movie career. Then you got Escape by Night, a group of a group of gangsters running from the law, and they go into a farmhouse with an old man and dog. This is kind of like the Petrified Forest from 1937. Then you got Gangster Bullets, where the lack of evidence can't put a kingpin in jail. So the DA goes undercover to get the kingpin. And that's from 1938. Then you got Gangster Boy. It is mostly a high school honor student becomes or gets kind of typecast because he's so good, and his father's against a mob, and they think he's part of his father's mob business. It's kind of like the TV show Hunter, where he was a cop and his father worked for his father was a mob person. This I don't know if Hunter got the idea from that movie from 1938. That's with Jackie Cooper. Then you got The Racketeer and Robert Armstrong, the guy from King Kong. Like I said, another thing. Played the he played the director that was trying to get King Kong famous, and that's just a he played a New York mobster from 1930. Then you got Babyface Morgan, another Robert Armstrong movie, and he just want to be bigger than the guy he's working for 1942. Got Boss of the Big Town, about a bunch of bad guys want to move into the food business, the grocery store business, and the leader that they're trying to psych out wants to take over their business and make it his way for 1942. You got Gangster Inc. That she she somehow dates a bad boy, and the bad boy gets her arrested because he did something, framed her for it, and she wants revenge on that bad boy she fell in love with. And Lady Gangster is about an actress that get mixed up with a bunch of mob men that makes her bad. Oops, a DVD coming out. Now we got four more movies, and these four movies are just by themselves to make it easier. I should have broken this movie up, but I I didn't. It won't be an hour long movie. Murder Inc. with Stuart Whitman, Harry Morgan, and Peter Falk. They get Columbo, Mash, and Stuart Whitman. And this is just a gangster that a bunch of gangsters that terrorized 1930 New York. And Harry Morgan is the cop that want to take down these criminals. Now Harry Morgan, I think he is. Now he might be the other Harry Morgan from the 30s and 40s, or he might be the guy from Dragnet and Mash. But this is Peter Falk's first movie. This is from 1960, and Stuart Whitmore is the handsome guy that did that John Wayne picture. The what's that for? The Stuart Whitmore did do a lot of movies. He played that other cowboy movie, the other cowboy TV show. Kind of hard to remember his TV shows because he did so little. But he is a good actor. I just can't remember what he did. He didn't do too many. Then you got Bonnie and Clyde, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. Faye Dunaway. This is a real good movie from 1967. This is the story about Bonnie and Clyde, and it's got a lot of violence in it for a PG. Yeah, it was PG at the time, and when this movie came out, this movie was real controversy because of the violence. This would be the first time that theaters saw so much violence. But then 2 years later, they would have another controversy about the Wild Bunch that had more violence than this movie ever had. This movie was the pre the Wild Bunch. Then we got this one, the Saint Valentine Massacre from 1967. Now, now I don't know which one came first, this one or Bonnie and Clyde. And in this one, you get okay. This is a Roger Corman movie. You get Jason Robert. You get George Segal. Yeah, you get them two biggies. And this is just what happened. This is like Al Capone and all the bad guys get shot up in the car shop or whatever. And it tells you kind of what happened. And this is a real this is a real good, not action packed movie, but it's real good. I don't know if it's hard to find or easy to find because my collection got old movies. I got DVD that's real old. Now the last gangster movie came out in 19. My last gangster movie. Now we got the gangster movie kind of ended, and then it kind of started up again with the Godfather in the '72 and all that stuff. Then it kind of died down again until Scarface came out. Al Pacino played the Colombian kind of kind of gangster type. And if you saw Scarface, you know what this movie's about. This is from 1983, and this is kind of this is a remix of Scarface from 1932. And the 32 one is good also. They're both good movies, but this is a remake of that one. But instead of being that kind of movie, they changed it to a to a Colombian gangster instead of a regular gangster, I should say. And and that's all my gangster movies. I do got The Godfather. I just got to put it in there, so that might be that's gonna be a separate video. So I hope you like this long video a lot. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment, and have a groovy day.